Hey everyone, my name is Mixmasher. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be building Mumbo Jumbo's nuclear reactor in Bedrock. Yes, that's right. It's going to be pretty much the same, just going to be upgraded and slightly more realistic. So, it should be good. Make sure you stick around and thank you. Let's get into it. So, to start off with, what you're going to want to do is build your piston array. In my case, it's 6 pistons across, and then I've removed the last piston of each corner just to make it look like a bit more of a circle. And they're going to be spaced every other block apart, as you can see here. And they're reset 9 blocks into the ground and 6 blocks away from the edge of the wall. To build the control rods, what you're going to want to do is put 2 slime blocks on top of each piston, as you can see I've done there. And then your stained glass on top of that, and then reverse order for the top set. Now I activated the pistons down at the bottom there, so we can get the correct distance that we need, because trust me, building this at the wrong height is the worst thing, and then you have to rebuild it again. So get it right the first time. And just as a side note as well, everything you're going to be seeing in this video up to the redstone portion is pretty much the same as Mumbo Jumbo did, so his video is a very good resource if you're just looking, and I do recommend you go view it if you haven't already. But now what we're going to do for the top control rods is extend out our pistons, making sure they are in line, which as you can see that one is not, because I removed that corner, but it's going to be used as a scaffolding block. And just fill it in until they're all good. Okay, now as you could probably see, I'm not really showing it here, but I have taken liberty of filling in the top pistons and putting the slime blocks and glass on there. Save time, you know what it is, just a mirror of the bottom. Now we're going to get started on the redstone portion, which, don't panic, it is quite simple. All you're going to need is a couple of repeaters, 2 for each red line that I'm placing right now, so 6 in total. And some redstone dust, obviously, and 2 observers, or 3 observers actually. And yeah, so I'm using red concrete here, because it will make it easier for you to see where all the different lines are. The red means that it will be controlling our bottom pistons right there. So just gonna grab some redstone dust and some repeaters, and then we will get started. And here we go. So repeater there, and then do the same on all of these, like so. And we're good to get our redstone dust in, and then we will do the delay. And the delay is pretty simple. Our locking repeater, which is the one that is going into the repeater there, will be set to 3 ticks. Sorry. Get a little confused with it, but it is 3 ticks. And then the one that is going down the red concrete line is going to be no ticks. And the reason this is because we want our first piston to extend first before our second piston extends, because if the second one extends, then it's going to lock the whole system up. So we want our bottom to extend first, but on the flip side, we also want it to retract last, because if it retracts first, then our top pistons are going to be stuck in the upper position, and we're going to need to have more observers to fix it. So this way, it just makes it a bit easier. And with these repeaters on the orange line, set those to 2 ticks. This will make sure we get through any of the weird bedrock stuff, and it will make it reliable and not random. So, as you can see, right there, our double piston extension is working. We haven't put in our observers yet, so it's not going to do a full retraction. it will get most of the way there, as you can see there. And to finish off this bottom line, we're just going to add an extra block to the end of each red line and put redstone dust on it. And then put an observer facing upwards on top of that with a redstone dust on top. And the reason this works is because the timing of our pistons. So our red line or the bottom pistons are the very last pistons to retract. And so we can take our output because our orange line only needs to fire once our red line is off. So we can take an observer output from the red line, which will fire the top orange line, retracting it. And it works very well. I haven't found a better solution actually for it. But now we're going to get into our top line, which is oh so similar to our bottom set with one difference. A, it's upside down, and B, our orange line actually has to be made out of an unmovable object. You can pick any unmovable object you want. Obsidian is pretty much the only one you're going to have access to though. I don't know all of the unmovable objects in Bedrock, but I'm just using obsidian just for the ease of getting, really. I mean, it's not easy to get, but it's the only block I know of. I don't know my unmovable objects very well. So we're just going to speed run through this bit because it is basically the same as the bottom. Just make sure that it's the reverse way round in terms of timings for repeaters. And the reason you have a movable object here, obsidian, as you can see just there, is because our orange line is actually going to have to be in touch with our pistons. Or with the slime blocks, sorry, not pistons. It has to touch the slime blocks, as you can see right there. Okay, now all of the timings for this are exactly the same. Everything is pretty much exactly the same. There is no difference at all. I'm just going to power this. As you can see, double extension, only one retraction. So we have to put in our observer, and here I'm doing a little bit more of an alternate placement for an observer, which looks a little cleaner, and that's just indented one block in. It has to be put here, it cannot go between the pistons because the pistons have to have a solid block underneath to be able to power the pistons. And observers are transparent, so if the observer is in line or next to the pistons, then they won't fire. Okay, and as you can see, everything is working very well. Just gonna try out a couple of different delays on the pistons, because you can see it makes it very clear that this is really the only way, I guess, delay that works is 2 ticks. You can see it's working here, but it is very unpredictable and inconsistent, especially when you have a lot of redstone builds. So in my testing worlds, one delay is very, very unpredictable, and it half the time works, half the time doesn't. And if you go full delay, it does work, obviously, it will work fine, but it's just too long, right? The whole delay that I have set is where it's as fast as it can possibly be while actually working consistently. So if you want to do a different delay, feel free, but the chances are it probably won't work, or it'll just look wrong. Anyway, that rant aside, we're now going to put in the bottom of our nuclear reactor. So I'm using obsidian because or not obsidian, that's bedrock. I'm using bedrock. It has to be an unmovable block if you're doing this in survival. Obsidian's your only option. I'm just using bedrock because I like the way it looks. And I now have access to all blocks because this world is no longer a survival world. I had to change it because the ocean update corrupted everything. And I tried to fix it and failed, which I'm very sad about. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm adding 2 separate lines to each of these, and the reason I'm doing that is for a future video where I'm going to be going over a control system which will actually allow you to get 4 different power levels out of your reactor. Well, quote unquote, 4 different power levels. And that's just because we have 4 pistons there, so each piston, every time you power a piston, is 1 power level, right? Or I guess unpowering removes increases your power, right? Because yeah, but as you can see, this is the one of the power systems. I have 2. This one you can see is very bulky right now because it's an older design, but I can very easily simplify that with the cop flop, because most of the bulk of this is in these hoppers, which are acting as T flip-flops, taking out and taking a button input and turning it into a solid output, and you can do that with copper bulbs now. So that's the mode switch. You could see the redstone blocks underneath those hoppers, they lock them. When either one of those mode switches is depowered, the whole thing shifts over and locks everything, so you can't change the power setting. You can see in the background, hopefully, that it's moving. We have full power displays on the control rods where they're placed. Due to the compactness that has to be in the system, we can't individually control rods like you could in a nuclear reactor IRL. But you know, it is what it is, and I just pushed the scram button, which is it's an acronym for Single Control Rod Axeman. It's a very good story behind that if you're interested. And yeah, just briefly show you the other system, which uses item sword to put in output, and then you just decode that, encode it, and then send it over to the reactor to power what you need. Now, I have built the Containment Hall. That's what I'm building now. I used World Edit to fill in those concrete walls there. I used white concrete because I think it looks the most fancy and cool. And now it's just the design of the I guess pressure rings, you could call them. It's what keeps it strong. The graphics in this game are wild sometimes. Makes it so interesting. But yeah, as I was saying, just putting in the final details here, and yeah. It's also worth noting that you can use any block palette. Any block will work with this. Naturally, it's a nuclear power plant. Anything goes really, as long as it looks industrial. You can't really go wrong. But I just wanted to make it look modern and sleek. And we're going to add a little bit of detail to this white box over what I'm adding right now. Okay, and this is starting to look good. It's not a particular science in Minecraft, just make it look bulky and strong. Because this is the, I guess, pressure. The reactor hall or reactor containment building in a regular plant is designed to withstand the pressure of all the water in your primary coolant system, or the reactor core, turning to steam. So it's designed to withstand that type of pressure and I guess explosion, you could say. And that's with the details on it. So with that said, there's not really much left to do but say goodbye. There's going to be more videos coming out on this. I've got a turbine hall that I'm still designing, and then I'm going to be building the reactor control room next with all of those systems, and they're going to take a lot of space. I'm trying to figure out where to put them right now, which is why the video's not going to be out for a while. Also university, but it'll come out at some point around Christmas. And try designing one yourself if you can't wait that long. Anyway, that's all from me for today. Thanks for watching and have a good one. See ya!